Hello out there, everybody in Videoland. How are you today? My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is your city, your voice, and I'm getting my radio going here. Hello, everybody out there in Radioland as well. Everything's rocking and rolling. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, across from the Meteor Crater, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Welcome to the show. Hey, good to be back. I had a few days off there on Thursday and Friday. We did the Absolutely show on Wednesday, and then we came back and did the holiday 2 days. And where did I go? Well, we went to Erie and had a great time in Erie, Pennsylvania. If you've never been there, take a shot there. Take a little trip, an hour and a half away. Lots of good dining, lots of good things to do there. A lot of fun. We stayed right on the water. So that was fun too. And there's always something going on down there. And yeah, we had a good time. Usual good time whenever you take off. You know what it's like. You take off for a couple of days. It's a nice break from everything. But I'm back, and there's so much that's going on in the world since I got back. Not so much in Niagara Falls. Pretty quiet weekend, I guess. I never saw anything really crazy here. But as far as everywhere else in the world, yeah, we'll talk about all that. We're going to talk about all that. But first, I have to get to my sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. And that's right, we do have a new sponsor that came aboard about a week ago. So, first of all, let's talk about Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Look at today. Pouring rain out there. Weather's cooling down. It's going to be in the low 70s. Beautiful weather for this time of year. I mean, we are in September. But at the end of the day, we know what's coming. So you want to get your car in. You want to be proactive. You want to let Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop take a look at your car. You'll throw your car on the diagnostic equipment he has. He'll tell you if there are any problems with your car. He's going to fix them, toot sweet, and get you back on the road safe and sound. You don't want your brakes to be breaking, be not working. You don't want anything to be breaking down. You want all systems go. Especially when you get into the rotten weather, the last thing you want to do is sit on the side of the road going, oh man, I should have went and saw Ken. He would have fixed everything for me and I would have been a happy motor. That's what you want to do. And where do you find Ken Hunter and Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop? On Oakwood Drive, right next to the Kia dealership. And you want to tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you when you go down there. Now, if you get a little fender bender, a little crash him up, hey, he's got a full body shop there. He's going to get your car back out on the road looking like it just came out of the showroom. You're going to be happy. Your car's going to be happy. Get it fixed. Go see Ken at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. So, yeah, so I was in Erie and had a great time there. So many good restaurants. And I did a review on Restaurant Reviews Niagara, a little joint called Mi Scusi, an Italian restaurant that used to be downtown, I found out. In downtown Erie, and they've moved it to the Mill Creek Mall, which is the big mall right on Peach Street in Erie, Pennsylvania. And yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good if you ever go to Erie, check out Mi Scusi. We also had a Comic-Con going on right next to our hotel. There's two hotels there, the Sheraton and the Marriott. They're joined by a walkway, and there's a convention center kind of between them and a channel to get out into the lake for the marina that's right behind us. And yeah, they had a big Comic-Con there. So I saw the Scooby-Doo truck and a couple other really neat things there. And of course, all the people wandering around in their Comic-Con garb, which was pretty interesting. So there's a lot of people hanging around and down around there when we went. So what's going on back here? Well, the weather was fantastic on the weekend. I would imagine it was the same here. Summer's officially over. I think September 21st was it. That's when we turn into fall, and we've moved into fall with weather that's getting to be appropriate for this time of year, although it was pretty nice on the weekend. But we know we're going to start dropping in temperatures, and it's going to start getting a little bit cooler out at night and a little bit cooler out during the daytime. But so far, so good. It looks good for the next week into October anyway, which is great. Big shout out to my buddy Robert George, who came and closed my pool this morning. Yeah, it's that time. You got to get it closed. Robert came with his guys, did a bang-up job, closed her all up, and there you go. That's the foreboding of what's coming towards us. You close everything, start closing everything up. digging out those flowers, getting everything ready for the winter time. Big shout out to those guys that did a bang up job. Yeah, and we know it can't last forever. What are we going to do, right? We're getting into that season. But you know what? To be honest with you, I don't mind the fall. You get those really nice days you can sit outside in the sun and that. You get those days that are a little bit rotten. You can actually get stuff done inside the house because you're outside all summer. So there's something to be said for this time of year. It's a little bit cooler. You're not sweating it out so much. Yeah, I don't mind it. Summer's the best, but fall and spring are neat. Spring, you're anticipating summer. Fall, you're saying goodbye and you're looking towards winter, but we're lucky in Niagara Falls for anybody who doesn't live in this area. We don't get a real bad winter. Seriously, we usually don't get a lot of snow, if any, till January. January and February, 2 months, 8 weeks, and we're out of it basically because once you hit March, you're all right. And we're not that far. I mean, once we get by Thanksgiving, which is in a couple weeks, we got Thanksgiving and then Halloween and then the American Thanksgiving, and then we're at Christmas, right? And then once we get through Christmas, you got basically Valentine's Day, spring break, and you're in March and April. So it's almost summer. We don't have long to go. Anyway, that's my weather forecast. A little bit of optimism there for us. And tonight is the start of the preseason for the Habs. That's right, my Montreal Canadiens. They start their preseason tonight. Everybody's been waiting for hockey, for all summer. And now here we go. 6 games, and then we start the season October 9th against the Toronto Maple Leafs down the road here. But they're playing in Habsland. They're coming to visit us in Habsland on October 9th. So we're watching the preseason game tonight. Is the first one for the Habs. So the Rangers have, I think, Rangers, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Boston. They all played on the weekend. And other teams, Washington played one with Philly. There's a few games over the weekend. But for me, when the Habs start, that's the official start. And that's what we got going on in the sports world. Of course, if you're in the NFL, that's that season in the full swing. And somebody told me the Buffalo Bills were 2-0. I wouldn't know. I don't watch football. But that's all. Over to the city, the one thing I did notice lately is there's a lot of motorcycle crashes. Has anybody else noticed this? Like, what's up with the motorcycle crashes lately? I mean, I look in the paper, and every few days there seems to be a crash on a bike, and it's just, drivers have to put down the phones and pay attention. I mean, bikes are intrinsically hard to see. You look once one way, once the other way before you go. You look the other way, and there's a bike, and it's just because they got the one light on them, and they're sometimes they hide in traffic, or if you just don't see them as well as a car coming down the street. So if you don't see the 2 headlights or the 2 running lights, you just you just don't pay attention. And away you go out in the street and ba-boom. So you got to pay attention, especially distracted drivers. I mean, you got to quit looking at your phones. You got to pay attention to what's going on today. Salute. There's so much traffic in that it's not fun driving anymore. To be honest with you, you got to pay attention every second. There's always something going on. You have a lot of people, I swear to God, don't understand the rules of the road. I don't know where they got their license, if they even have one. And a lot of them maybe don't even understand English. I don't know. But there's a lot going on that's causing these accidents. So as a biker, I had a bike. I've ridden since the early 70s. And I know how defensive you have to be. When you're riding a bike, you have to look and say, these guys are going to kill me. Everybody's out to kill you on a bike. You learn to drive very defensively. And even with that, most bikers are great drivers. There's some guys who are goofy. I mean, they speed down the road and everything else. But 99% of the bikers are very, very careful because it's not forgiving. I mean, you go down on a bike, it hurts. It's not very forgiving, a bike. So they're extra, extra careful. And 9 times out of 10, it's a car that's pulling out and that kind of thing. And I know the drivers they're not doing it on purpose, obviously. But, you just, that lapse of attention You always have to be aware, and it's tough out there, especially when you're starting to look at your phone or talking on the phone or texting or eating a breakfast bagel. I've seen people put makeup on, eat a breakfast bagel. I do all kinds of crazy things. Today, you can't do that crap. I mean, back in the day, it wasn't so busy. Maybe you can get away with that. But today, you're looking for an accident. So be careful out there. Observe the motorcycles. They're out on the road. Keep an eye out for them, and just drive carefully. Pay attention. Today's not a In this world. You can't just not pay attention anymore. It's not fun driving. If I had the money, I'd have a driver. I wouldn't drive anywhere. I hire a driver. Just take me all around. Take me here, take me there. Do whatever I have to do because I just don't find it. There's just too much chaos on the roads for me. That's my opinion. And yeah, if I ever win the lottery, that's the first thing I'll do is hire a driver. So you see me, my picture in the paper with the lottery check, start your applications coming in to be a driver. The second application will be from yacht owners. I want a yacht. Okay, last Tuesday's video regarding doctors. I was talking about doctors. That Welland is paying $100,000 if a doctor signs up to work in Welland. They've hired 9 new doctors in the last 10 months, whereas Niagara Falls is offering 50, and we've hired 2 new doctors. So Dave Wheeler, my good buddy Wheels, commented on last Tuesday's video regarding doctors, and he said, paying doctors starts a competitive process that makes it especially hard for smaller cities to compete. And I thought about that for a while. That's a good point. That's a good point. But then I thought about it and I said, well, I don't really agree with that statement. I'm going to tell you why. Some doctors, no matter what you pay them, are still going to go to the small towns because they don't want to be involved in the hustle, bustle, and expense of the bigger cities. There's a lot of people who don't like to live in big cities or work in big cities or cities that are really busy as far as like traffic and everything else. And it's more expensive. Houses are more expensive in Toronto and Hamilton. They are in Niagara Falls or Welland for that matter. So some doctors like the smaller town feel. They have the same number of patients. They put out a shingle. They get their patients and they make the same amount of money, but they don't have the same amount of stress that you would have in a bigger city where you get to know everybody. You're part of the community rather than some obscure guy that you never see your patients because there's 100,000 people running around rather than a small town with 2 or 3,000. And everybody in town are 5,000 or something. So I think a lot of doctors just like that better than this. Like the lakes and scenery of the French River or places up north are as spectacular as the falls. If you've ever been up there, it's beautiful. I mean, we talk about all the stuff to do in Niagara Falls, within the falls itself being the big attraction, plus all the restaurants and entertainment and everything else that goes along with it. But at the end of the day, there's some beautiful spots that are just as beautiful and they don't have the traffic or the noise. um, you know, Sometimes that the allure of the small town supersedes the big city, and the craziness of living in a big city. And the cost is less, of course, to live there. Prices are lower in small cities than they are in big towns. So there's a lot to be said for practicing in a smaller town rather than in a bigger city. So yeah, if somebody offers them 100 grand, they may say, okay, I'm going to go for that. But some others would say, no, I don't care about that. I'm going to make that anyway. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the money. What I am worried about is my mental stability and the life I want to live, that cottage life rather than the big city life, that small town feel to it. So, yeah, Dave, you have a good point. You have a good point. But I don't know if that's a consideration for a lot of people. A lot, like some people might just say, heck with it. I don't want that and go to a small town. But, um, we pay the doctors to come to this area. Why? Because we have to. It's the way it is. I don't think we're taking away from the small towns by doing that. It's all in what the doctors want their lives to look like at the end of the day. I mean, they can really, with a degree, you can hang a shingle in anywhere you want. You may enjoy the mountains of Alberta and British Columbia way better than the flats of Saskatchewan and Manitoba, or the hustle and bustle of the Toronto and Montreal. You may like the East Coast, where life is pretty simple out there too, and easygoing, right? Yeah. So good point, though. And thank you very much for the comment, Wheels. I appreciate it. Your insight into things is always welcome, and so is everybody else. If you see the video and you see what I'm saying, you don't agree with me, or you have a comment to make or some point to make, let me know. I'll talk about it on air and we'll go from there, right? So anyway, over to this craziness. There's so much, like I say, there's so much going on, all this crazy stuff in the world. But now, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call this whack job, I think he's going to go away for a long time. This was the big news now. And this is up there with Epstein and Weinstein and all these other guys who are involved in the movie trades or with the Billionaires Club, sex trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking. This guy's in big trouble, and this guy could be taking a lot of people with him because he's definitely going to be a whistleblower here, I think. And if he isn't, he'll be well. He might not be because he might be dead. I don't know if he's going to be allowed to live with this much information, but there's other guys who have just as much, and a lot of people are going to be in trouble with this guy. See if he lives long enough to rat on everybody. The guy's perhaps worse than Epstein and Weinstein. The list of things he did is pretty sickening. Um, he's going away for a long time. He's got tons of charges on him. There's going to be more coming out too as they find more stuff. It's been going on a long time. And we saw the assault of his girlfriend right on video a few years ago, and they've been watching him ever since. And now he's in big doo doo. P Diddy and big doo doo. But there's a lot of other people that this guy brought up, and it's just another case of these guys abusing their wealth. And of course, this time it's in the music and entertainment industry, like usual. Elites abusing young boys and girls, trafficking them and using them as sex toys is nothing new. But now these perverts are getting caught in the whole house of cards. At Pizzagate, if you remember Pizzagate, look it up. You'll see it. It's all coming down and could get really ugly. So stay tuned. There's a lot of rumblings about the Obamas and a lot of other people being involved with this guy. And of course, he brought in Usher and basically adopted the guy, became his oh, what do you call that? Almost, you don't call it adopting, just took him over type of thing. And of course, Usher was the one who discovered B-Bar, and Drake could be involved in it. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Like, there's no accusations yet, but all these guys are kind of were together, and there's pictures of them all together. So early in their careers, when they're trying to make it, sometimes you sell your soul to the devil. But we'll see who's implicated. I've seen a lot of pictures of a lot of people. Nothing solid yet, and it may never come of anything. But a lot of people are crapping their pants, I'm sure, right now, because he was a pretty big name with all these people. And I mean, he went out with J Lo, and I mean, a lot of people were involved with this guy. Lots of people. And he's not just the only one in deep doo doo. ABC News is in deep doo doo. Why? Because a whistleblower has signed an affidavit saying that ABC colluded with the Democratic Party, promising to not ask follow-up questions to Kamala in that weird debate a few weeks ago, and not to ask her certain questions regarding certain things, like her cover-up regarding the health of Biden and her record as AG of California Attorney General. Dismal record, very bad. They never asked her about that. Basically, what they're saying, the whistleblowers, the whole debate was rigged, and she had the questions beforehand. And if you look at the actual connection with all these people, the CEO of ABC is Kamala's best friend. She introduced Kamala to her husband, Doug Emhoff, and Emhoff is best friends with Matt Walden, the CEO's husband. So there's this little ring here. The moderator, Lindsay Davis, is also a sorority sister of Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. The swamp runs really deep, and she was the one asking Trump follow up questions. Never asked Kamala follow up. And actually, the other guy, Davis or whatever his name, not Davis, whatever his name was, the guy, he was actually arguing with Trump, debating him like he was running for something. Affiliate ABC stations are also editing her answers so that they get rid of the word salad. The word salad, not the word salad. The word salad she presents, it makes her answers look better. So they're taking all the crap that she said, cutting out parts and making it look better. The debate, what really was a 3-on-1 debate, now is being proven to be true. When Trump says fake news, he isn't kidding. Stay tuned. This is going to get worse for ABC. And somebody did say something. I think Reg Wall, my buddy Reg Wall, said something about what she said, or I can't remember what he said on Facebook, but I didn't quite understand what he was getting at. But he'll probably reply to me and let me know. But yeah, it was all rigged. It was all fixed. And she's done 2 interviews or 3 interviews since, and they've been a nightmare. I mean, they're just trying to keep her outside of any interviews because every time she does, she says nothing. And she's got these softball questions. Like when she did her interview with, what's her name there? Oprah, the Oprah Winfrey. That was another joke of an interview. I'm probably going to talk about that later on because I've got it written down here somewhere. So we'll get into that later. But yeah, it's getting pretty goofy. And what I'd like to do now is talk about my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Hey, we're getting to the time of year now where we got Thanksgiving coming, and we have Halloween coming, and Christmas. And they're the time of years you want to have your house lit up nice. I see a lot of people decorating their house for Halloween. And of course, everybody puts up Christmas lights. Well, how about this? If you never had to put up Christmas lights again, imagine that. And you could have your house red and green, or whichever colors you like the best. Red, yellow, green, and blue. You know the multicolored lights you get? What if you could do that and never have to put up another string of lights and not have your house looking ugly with cords all over the place? Not having to climb ladders in the cold. Think about that. That's what Hamilton Glowstone Lighting does. They come in and they put up track lighting around your house. Beautiful track lighting. And you can change the zones. They build them in zones so you can change them different colors, all from your phone. It's beautiful. There's a million different color combinations you can have. So you turn your house orange for Halloween, green for St. Patrick's Day, red and green for Christmas, white and red for Canada Day. It doesn't matter. You have control. You do it the way you want. Now, all these lights are LED, so they're not going to break the bank when it comes to your hydro bill. Very, very, very efficient. And also, they're all built and they're all soldered together. Different zones, different tracks are all put together, soldered, which makes them impervious to dust and moisture. So you're not going to have these burnouts and that kind of thing. As a matter of fact, they're so good that Colin Buckborough, the proprietor, offers a lifetime warranty on these lights. You can't beat that. That's confidence in your product. So how do you get these lights? Well, you call Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, Colin Buckborough at 289-969-1797. And he's going to come to your house, give you a free quote, and if you like it, they'll put them up for you right away. And they're getting busy now because there's a lot of people who are asking about this for their house to prevent them from having to climb up and down ladders and change lights and do all that other crap. Done. Once and done. One and done. That's what it is. So give Colin a call. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, 289-969-1797. Get your free quote and do it right away because they're going to start getting busy for Christmas. This is when people want these lights up. And you want to make sure you get yours in before the Christmas rush. Get them down there now for the Christmas rush and get it done. So yeah, so that's what you want to do. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Or if you want to see some examples of their work, just go to glowstonelighting.com. GLOWSTONELIGHTING, like it sounds. And you can see a gallery of all the different work they've done. They're beautiful. You'll love them. And Colin will come down and take care of you. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Now, I was reading a story, and the mayor said Lundy's Lane is tricky to navigate. Uh, when I saw that, that made me laugh. Tricky, like it's some kind of a trick. Lundy's Lane is playing a trick on you, trying to trick you. No, no. Lundy's Lane is dangerous to navigate. Tricky is a huge understatement. That's gaslighting. It's not tricky. It's dangerous. That's out and out dangerous, and really has become a safety issue for Niagara Falls drivers. I hate going down Lundy's Lane. I stay off it. Unless I absolutely have to go down Lundy's Lane, I do not go near it. It's just too dangerous for me. And I mean, they keep saying it's tricky and they got to do this, they got to do that. What are we going to do with it? I told you. The answer is simple. I'm telling them what to do. It's very simple. You don't have to spend a dime on consultants. Listen to me. You've got to stop left-hand turns on Lundy's Lane. That's right. You got to stop left-hand turns into businesses, left-hand turns out of businesses. That's what screws everybody up. A guy stops, the guy behind them stops, the guy 2 cars down. They want to go around them. They pull out and bam, they get smacked by the right-hand lane. Or the guy doesn't know where he's going. Tourists are going up and down Lundy's Lane. They don't know where they're going, and they jam on their brakes to make the left, and bang, right into the back of them, especially if you're looking at your phone while you're driving. I mean, it's dangerous. The whole lane is dangerous right from basically Portage Road. Up the hill isn't too bad. Drummond Road, say, right to Kayla Road. I mean, it's a nightmare to drive. People pulling in and out, jamming on their brakes to make left-hand turns. It's ridiculous. And there's only one solution to stop the problems there, and that's no more left-hand turns. Very simple. How do you do it? You put a median right down the middle of Lundy's Lane. A median, like that. So guys can't drive over it. Straight down. That's all you have to do. Straight down Lundy's Lane. No left-hand turns from now on. How do people get around the businesses on the other side? Well, if you're smart, you use your noodle. Common sense. Go by the lane, come down the back road, come up another road, make a right, and then make another right into the business. No big deal. That's what I do if I have to go anywhere there. But barring that, of course, if people aren't smart, they're going down Lundy's Lane, there's U-turn lanes like any other normal city. You pull up to, say, Glenholm Avenue, and then you pull a U and go back the other way to the business you want to go to. And they make several of these U-turn lanes. They have a special U-turn light that comes up and it says U on it. And that's when you can make a U-turn because it stops all the other traffic. And, of course, you got to have no right-hand turns on any of these lights onto the lane so that if somebody's making a U, somebody can't turn right into them because there will be people who do that. They will, guaranteed. No right-hand turns from these lights. And that's the way you stop it and you make it safer. There's no other option. You cannot widen Lundy's Lane. The businesses are right on the sidewalk. I mean, if you start taking and widening Lundy's Lane, you're going to be taking parking from businesses. You're going to be having to move the sidewalks over. It's going to be millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to redo the whole thing. Whereas a median down the middle costs you nothing. What's it cost you? Diddly. Not P diddly, diddly. That's the way to do it. And if I wish one counselor would stand up and say this. How easy is this? Left-hand turns. There's no trick to it. There's no trickiness on Lundy's Lane. It's dangerous. And you got to get rid of left-hand turns. That's your first way to stop it. And I guarantee the accident rates will go down. They'll plummet. They'll plummet. They've got to. There's just too much traffic. That's the way you do it. So there's my contribution to society today. No left-hand turns on Lundy's Lane. If it works, maybe do it all the way down to Ferry Street and that kind of thing, down Ferry Street too. Okay, so what are we at? 12:30 here. Okay, let's move over to the world. The world's heating up. Well, Biden and Harris watch and do absolutely nothing to stop World War III from happening here. It's all coming to a head, ladies and gentlemen. The Ukraine war is going to end up with NATO versus Russia. And of course, the USA is going to be involved in that. And if you don't believe me, it almost happened this weekend. And once they get involved, China might get involved as well. And then we got Iran versus Israel with the USA getting involved there. It appears inevitable. To this morning, I was watching the news all morning, and and Israel just hammering Hezbollah, hammering southern Lebanon, city of Tyre on the coast. They're just 300 sorties they flew or dropped. I don't know, blew up 300 different places. They're hammering them right now. It's escalating bad. And in the Ukraine is lobbing missiles into Russia, and Putin is threatening to escalate even further as well. He's issued a warning, Putin, that if the West allows Ukraine to use their long-range missiles to strike into the heart of Russia, he would view that as a direct participation of NATO countries, and that would change the very essence of the conflict. And he would retaliate in kind. He basically said the war would move Russia to a Russia versus NATO mode. They would cross his red line, and Russia would respond immediately. Now, nobody's taking him seriously, and that's a big mistake. Russia is issuing this warning, and Putin is. And at the end of the day, how will they know that an attack with long range weapons will be blamed on the US and UK? Basically NATO, because the fingerprints will be all over launch. And Putin knows this. Putin knows the weapons we have. He knows that the Ukrainians don't have the ability to launch these weapons without US or British help. All those systems are encrypted. And that has to be done by the US and Britain. The Ukraine doesn't have that capability. So if you're going to blow a missile off from the Ukraine, they're going to fire it. They can't just fire a missile. It's programmed, and it takes a while to program these things. And they got to be encrypted so there's no interference, and they got to know where they're going. It's a little bit of a process, and the Ukraine don't have that ability. Only the United States and Britain does. So if the Ukraine launches one of these, they will not be blamed for it. It will be Russia, or it'll be Russia blaming the US and Britain. They're the ones who are going to get the blame. They have the technology. They know how to do it. The Ukraine don't. And they're not getting encryptions that the Ukraine, believe me. So everything is encrypted, and they're programmed to hit certain targets. And the US and Britain have to do it, and Putin knows it. So he's saying, if this happens, we know who did it, and we're coming after you. I guess there was an attaché at the White House this weekend, and they were going to get the support and weaponry to launch these attacks into the deeper into Russia. And at the last minute, Biden backed out. He was going to sign these papers, and he didn't. Why? Because Putin issued that warning, and even though some of the people didn't take his warning seriously, they thought he was bluffing. Biden was told in no uncertain terms that this was no bluff. Someone had talked to Russia through the back channels, much like they used the back channels in the 60s when we had the Cuban Missile Crisis with the Russians. That's how they were stopped. That's how it was all ended, through back channels. And they were warned that signing it would mean a nuclear war with Russia. Putin was not bluffing, so Biden backed down. He didn't sign that paper. And we live today. I mean, these are really, really dangerous times. And the world is run by incompetent people right now, especially the US. We are really on the edge. Your good weekend came within one pen stroke of being a very bad weekend. Think about that. So, yeah, Biden, he was poised to approve the Ukraine's use of long range Western weapons in Russia. And Russia's pounding on the Ukraine, and the Ukraine is saying Russia is using guided missiles to strike cities in the Ukraine. Zelensky is headed to the U.S. this week to beg for money and more weapons. Will he get them or won't he? We don't know. But this is what's going on right now. And this war's got to end. I mean, Ukraine is done. I've said this for a year now. They've done. They've lost the war. They're never going to win this war. Russia will decimate them. It's only a matter of support from NATO in that. And if you want a full-fledged war between NATO and Russia, give them those long-range weapons and let them lob them into Russia. The worst thing they can do. Everybody says Russia wants to take over Poland and the Ukraine, wants to take over these places. No, they don't. They want their land that they want, and that's it. Russia has never really been taking over a lot of stuff. They took over the land that they had before, but they're not going to challenge NATO. You're going to have a NATO country. No, Ukraine will never be NATO. That's their buffer. Everything's going to be the same, and it just needs somebody who can go and deal this and make it happen, stop it. So I mean, and Russia's sitting there with the deadliest weapon on Earth, the Satan II, a range of 6 to 12,000 miles, can reach any location on Earth. It can be armed with 10 to 16 warheads, nuclear included, can be aimed to hit different targets, can also carry up to 24 Vanguard hypersonic glide vehicles, drones, if you will, that travel to Mach 27 to Mach 30, delivering both nuclear and conventional payloads. They can't be intercepted by anything the U.S. has today. They're just too fast. The weapon is horrific, and if ever launched, will be a total nightmare. And in the meantime, Putin is also sending warships and bombers near the English Channel to spook the Brits. It's heating up. Something has to give, probably before the November 5th election, if it's going to happen at all. But I'm telling you, we live in dangerous times. We live in dangerous times, and these guys aren't helping any. They got to straighten these wars out. They got to stop it before they wipe us all out. And I don't see anybody that's going to be doing it right now. I mean, Biden's not going to. Harris, they don't have the ability to, or else they would have done it already. They want to send them more stuff till they're threatened so bad they don't. This is not what we need right now in the world. We need peace. Like Donald Trump said, we need to end these wars. I think one of the one reporter there in that debate said, who do you want? Don't you want Ukraine to win? Trump said, there's no winners. There's no winners in a war. I want to stop it. I want to stop the killing. Trump has always been for peace. There was no war in the 4 years he was president, even though they said he was going to create a nuclear war, cause a nuclear war. There was none. He wants to end this right now. He wants to even end it before Inauguration Day if he wins this election. He wants to end it. So, choose wisely. When you're voting out there, choose wisely. I'm telling you, it's not funny. And all the Canadians are going, why do you talk about Trump? Because it affects us. We're involved. Think if Russia don't lobs one of these nuclear bombs at North America, we're not involved. Man, oh man, be careful what you wish for. You think you're gonna beat Russia? Yeah, good luck. We're better off being peaceful and getting along than we are fighting a nuclear war or any kind of war for that matter. Now we got another problem just south of that, over the Middle East. The war between Israel and the proxy of Iran, Hezbollah, is also heating up. Like I say, they lobbed 300 missiles over, 300 strikes at Hezbollah targets this morning. And of course, the Hezbollah has been lobbing missiles by the hundreds over the border towards northern Israel. So you got a real mess there. And then we saw the attack on Hezbollah using pagers and walkie-talkies, and that's really up the ante. A brilliant move by the Israelis to figure this all out and go to Taiwan and infiltrate the factories that do it. But the things killed many and injured thousands as pagers exploded on their users. Yeah, I mean, ingenious, but not good. Not good. That's the way you escalate stuff. And Hezbollah has not taken this lightly and vowed to destroy Israel. Israel remains in control, killing another Hezbollah leader, Ibrahim Akil, on a strike in Beirut, along with 31 others. Akil was said to be planning an attack on Israel and murder innocent civilians, much like the October 7th, 2023 invasion. Now, Akil was wanted by the U.S. because of his links to the bombing of the U.S. Embassy and Marine barracks in Beirut in the 1980s that killed hundreds of people, including 220 Marines, 18 soldiers, 18 sailors and 3 soldiers in the process. So now you've got Israel fighting on 4 fronts. To the east, Iran. To the north, Hezbollah. To the south, the Houthis. To the west, Hamas. And of course, Iran's still waiting to launch a direct attack on Israel in retaliation for the killing of Haniyeh in August. It's a mess, another mess over there. The Israelis launched a series of airstrikes just this morning, like I said, a whack of them, with reports of at least 50 killed in the attacks. People are being told to leave the area of Tyre, Lebanon, and the highways are jammed with people heading north to Beirut. So just crazy, crazy stuff. And we really, really do need somebody to go in there and straighten this out. This is we don't want to see this. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare, and it's not going to end. It's not going to end until there's somebody who can go in and take this and knows how to negotiate and straighten this out. Some guy laying on a beach for the rest of his term isn't the guy, and Harris is not the person to do it. Anyway, that's what's going on. Like it or not, we're involved, all of us. I'd rather take the easy way out and have peace. That's the easy way out. Let's get everybody at odds and get them together and try to try to settle it all. An interesting story out of Toronto regarding a reel-to-reel recording of the Beatles concert at Maple Leaf Gardens on August 17, 1965, which was found by a Beatles expert named Pierce Hemmingson. And this guy's a huge collector of Beatle paraphernalia and memorabilia and everything else. And, you talk about a really awesome story, and this is it. Hemmingson, he's an avid Beatles expert who has written books about the Fab Four. He discovered tapes that were thrown in with the silent concert video footage recorded at that same event. He knew they were from the concert in 1995, but the stuff that he played them on was just so bad that he couldn't. The quality was so bad when he played them that he just disregarded them and put them to the side. And the Beatles only played 9 concerts in Canada. That's it. And this is one of them that was recorded. So 6 months later, he bought a player, a better player that could play this thing properly. And he played the 60-year-old tape and shocked by what he heard. A tape recorded right off the soundboard at the concert with incredible clarity. So he never knew how good this was. And apparently they had MPEG soundboards, and he recorded it right off it. So it sounded fantastic. And the tape included all the Beatle hits, like Twist and Shout, She's a Woman, I Feel Fine, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, Ticket to Ride, Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, Can't Buy Me Love, Babies in Black, I Want to Be Your Man, A Hard Day's Night, Help, and I'm Down. A second tape containing the warm-up acts, Brenda Holloway, Cannibal and the Headhunters, and King Curtis, was also included with this when he was given this, which they're the acts that went on before the Beatles. So this is unbelievable, and he will turn it into an actual, probably an LP, and sell it. I mean, the tape's priceless, and it could be the only one of its kind in the world, and that's why he didn't really consider it, because a lot of people who were at the concerts had recorders and recorded them and that, and he figured there was a lot of them out there, but nothing like this, nothing like this. And he said that it's amazing that anybody was able to do this, record this, because Brian Epstein, the Beatles manager, really, really controlled everything that happened. If you wanted anything to do with the Beatles, you had to go through Epstein. He was the guy, and he controlled everything. So he was amazed, this Hemmingson, that somebody actually recorded this off the board without Epstein knowing, and putting the kibosh on it, putting the stop on it. So this is a real relic, an artifact. Of course, he figures that it could be worth a fortune. Of course, somebody would pay him a fortune for it, and then they'd have the rights to actually produce this and get it out to the public, this lost recording. So interesting story out of Toronto, and I'm willing to put money on it, that there's a lot of these things hanging around. There's a lot of things hanging around, and we just don't know about it. They just haven't found them yet, or people don't know what they have. People our age who are there, people our age who were into the scene, have stuff, and nobody knows they have it. They might have even stashed it away and forgot they have it, and then all of a sudden, if they die or something, somebody finds it, and away we go. Right? So it's going to be an interesting about. There's a lot of bands that this happened to probably, and there's going to be more of it. So that's a great story out of there, and I'd like to hear it myself. I'd like to hear it live from that concert in Toronto. I didn't go 1965. I was a little bit young to go. I'm sure some people that are listening to this show who are a little bit older than me, they probably did go. They probably did go, but yeah, that would have been something to see, and it'd be something for me to hear. I'd love to hear it. I'll have to ask my buddy John Fillion about that. He's a music guy. He worked for Sam the Record Man for 35 years, and he knows a lot about this kind of stuff, and get his take on it. But I'm sure he would love to hear it too. Now, personally, I wasn't a big Beatles fan at the time. I liked the Who and Rolling Stones more than the Beatles. I didn't really listen to the Beatles a lot, but I am a history fan, and I love the history of music, and that bodes well. I would love to hear this. Now back to the election down south for a minute, because I was I'm just kind of jumping around a little bit here, just because I'm picking up stories, off and on. I mean, when I was away, I watched a little bit, but I was doing stuff every day, and we were out and about, so I never followed the news as close as I usually do when I'm home. But although the left wing media will never admit it, it appears Trump is running away with this thing. Harris is just so bad, even her supporters are running away from her. The unions are supporting Trump, the uniformed people are supporting Trump. I was in Pennsylvania, and I talked to a lot of people while I was there. If you saw my page on Facebook, there was a picture of this truck decorated in Trump on the door, and thing on the back, and Trump flags, American flags. It was pretty neat, and a lot of people were coming up and taking pictures of it and stuff. And I was talking to him and asking him, like, you're going to vote for Trump, and I was asking people in malls. I was talking to people in malls. Are you a Trump fan, or what do you think is going to happen here? And a lot of them said they're voting for Trump. I mean, overwhelming amount of people in Pennsylvania were voting for Trump. So that's what's happening now, and it looks like it's getting bigger and bigger. I was watching a show today, and it said that looking at the states that he looks like he has, it could be like he could have 302 seats. I mean, basically a landslide if that happened. And yeah, so 302 electoral college votes, and it's hard to win the popular vote for a Republican president, because the two biggest states with the most people, New York and California, are basically Democratic states, and so he may not win the popular vote. But this time they're saying he could even win the popular vote. Yeah, so I mean, Ghetto Harris, she displays many different accents and personalities. You know that. So she owns a gun. If anybody breaks into her house, she'll shoot him. Which was an interesting statement from somebody who wants to ban weapons. And oh, by the way, whenever she says I came from a middle class family, she when she was a kid, lived in the exclusive Westmount neighborhood in Montreal when she was growing up, probably the most expensive property in Canada. Yeah, so take whatever she says with a grain of salt. So it's becoming a battle of a man dodging bullets and a woman dodging interviews. Now, that was an interesting statement I saw on Facebook. And really, I mean, when you look at her, she really can't talk about her accomplishments, because there were none while she was vice president in the Biden administration. She said she looks into the future, unburdened by the past. Well, yeah, because she has no past she can talk about. Basically, that's it. So this is why Trump's kind of running away with it now. I'd say the Democrats, I think they're gonna have an October surprise for everybody. Of course, I don't think the last shot was taken at Trump. I don't think the Democrats have a lot of options except somehow to get rid of him. They tried impeaching him. They tried indicting him. They tried throwing him in prison for 500 years. They tried shooting him twice. I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done yet. But here's the October surprise we still might see, and that is the big question right now: is who's running the country? Who's running the country? Nobody knows where Joe Biden is. He rarely shows up for anything. He's given up. He's either on the beach or hiding. He's not all there. So who's actually running the country? So you may see them to try to prop this up. Just have him step down and give the presidency to Harris. That could be their October surprise to give her a boost before the election. And she'll be anointed as president, the first woman president, the first Jamaican Indian president, whatever you want to call her. She'll be anointed like she was leader of the party, where she got no votes and no support, but they just gave her the reins of the Democratic Party. It'll be the same type of thing. So, I mean, we'll see what's going to go on with it. But right now, Trump looks like he's got a pretty big lead over everybody, and over Harris, and he's got the right people on his team, and they'll look really good going forward. Kamala's asking for another debate. Trump don't want one. He goes, they've already started voting. Early voting has already started. Why have a debate now? It's a little late. So I don't think he's going to do another one. He debated Biden. He said it cost him $100 million to deal with that, and then they switched to Harris. And like he says, that's it. I'm not debating anybody else. Let the voters vote and see what's going to happen when it comes out. Now back to the Niagara Falls area, and I don't know if anybody follows Mike Cushman, but in the last few months, there's a lot going on with contaminants flowing into the Welland River, and hence the Niagara River. There's a leak that was uncovered coming from the industrial park on Stanley Avenue via Don Murray Street, and now something flowing out of the pond at Thundering Waters. The Ministry of the Environment and City are basically giving Mike Cushman, my buddy Mike, the guy that's kind of discovering these things, he watches all the time. They're kind of giving him the runaround. There's nobody really wanting to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to get Mike to come in tomorrow and explain what is going on, how this all started, where the problem is, his experience having to deal with the MOE and the city on this problem. And he's going to give it to us straight. And I love it because that's what we need. We need somebody who's going to come in and tell the truth and get to the bottom of this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, it's our health too, right? And there's a lot more that's going on, but Mike's going to get into it tomorrow. We'll have him in at noon and do the show just about that and how it started and what the solutions are, and maybe talk a little bit about the shenanigans down on 4th Avenue with the developer saying that that land isn't contaminated by anything from the cyanamide. Well, I'm sure Mike will beg to differ with them. I want to get to my third sponsor, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Now, if you're looking for a good pizza tonight, give Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue a try. I'm a pizza snob. I don't like a lot of pizzas. And everybody knows that. Anybody who knows me knows I don't like a lot of pizzas. But Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, I do like. They use an old Italian family recipe from the franchisor, Reno Mancini. His family recipe he brought in and created the first Pete's Pizza. These are franchises that still use his recipes. The dough, the sauce, and believe me, they're excellent. And Mike, who runs the one on Victoria Avenue, worked in an Italian restaurant for 15 years. So he knows about Italian food. And their pizza is very, very good. I mean, no matter what, you can have the ingredients, but if you don't know how to put them together properly and have the right ratios for cheese and sauce, and he uses, the really good Saputo mozzarella, and he mixes it with brick cheese, so you get that beautiful flavor. And anybody who knows pizza knows that this is the way you do it. Great pepperoni, great toppings, great pizza, really, to tell you the truth. And they don't stop there, though. subs, poutine, panzerotti, weekly specials and combos. You can't miss them. Right now, this is the 40th anniversary of Pete's Pizza. So they're offering a special 2 medium pizzas with 3 toppings on each for $25. And that runs to the end of the year. How can you beat that? Fantastic deal. I got mine. I always freeze one because I always like to have pizza at some point during the week, and I just bring it out, throw it in the toaster oven, hit it up, and it's beautiful. Now, they have extended hours. They've extended their hours. So Sunday to Thursday, they're open till midnight. And Friday and Saturday, they're open till 2 a.m. So if you get that late night munchie, hey, not a lot of places are open, but Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue is, and they'll send you over a great pizza. How do you get a pizza from there? Well, you just call 905-374-2222 or order online at petespizzavictoria.ca. Your pizza awaits you. Tell Mike Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. He'll be happy. I'll be happy. And believe me, your stomach's going to be happy. They make a darn good pizza over there, if I must say so myself. Okay, so we're going to get Mike Cushman in tomorrow. And next week we have a city council meeting. How about that? I didn't even know. I said, I better look up the date on the next city council meeting because, they sneak up on me, right? They always sneak up on me, these city council meetings. And then all of a sudden I'm going, oh, geez. And I get a message from Laurie Lococo, usually Councilor Lococo says, the agenda's up, ready to be viewed. And I go, oh, darn. I got to rip through the agenda and see what's going on. I might have the show on Monday, though, and then talk a little bit more about it on Tuesday rather than going through it on Tuesday. I'll see. I'd rather do it Tuesday. It's fresh in everybody's mind. But if I do it Monday, I'll be able to get the video up. I'll be able to get the video up Monday afternoon, and then people can watch it on Tuesday and go through the agenda with us live. Probably Wheels will be in. Wheels usually comes in for that. We'll see if he's available. But yeah, I might do it on Monday and then get the video up on Monday so Tuesday everybody can watch it and go through the city council agenda with us, figure out what's going on and that kind of thing. So anyway, I think I'm going to do it on Monday. I'll have to see if Wheels is available to do it on Monday and to give people more time. Problem is the agenda changes. Usually by Monday morning it's changed. So I'll be able to print it off and get the latest. And sometimes on Tuesday there's added stuff, but if it is, we'll have to deal with it live. We'll deal with it Monday, and then on Tuesday we can update if there's any updates. Anyway, so that's what's going on next week. Tune in for Mike Cushman in here tomorrow. We're gonna do a good show about this contaminant coming out of the Welland River and Don Murray Street and what's going on with it and the troubles Mike's had, and see if we can get more people to be aware of all this kind of stuff, because we are in a situation around here with contaminated land, and we don't want our streams contaminated or a river contaminated. These are things that should be taken care of seriously when they're reported, and it doesn't look like Mike's getting the action that he expected on it, which is a sad statement. I mean, we should be taking care of this kind of stuff for sure. We don't want our kids getting cancer and stuff like that. We don't want to get cancer. We want everybody to be healthy, and especially when it's going into our drinking water and that kind of stuff. Yeah, we'd rather have it clean, right, everybody? Anyway, I'm getting out of here. Thank you for tuning in to Your City, Your Voice today. Come back tomorrow with Mike Cushman. What else? And that's about it for today. I'm done. That's it. It's over for another day. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and of course, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Last but not least, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. And yeah, that's about it for today. I've covered everything I could get in the weekend anyway, and we'll see what goes on today with the Hezbollah and all that. I'll have more to report on that probably tomorrow as well. Anyway, for now, Paul Kalamir, Your City, Your Voice, 4680Q Radio, live in the studio. Check for the YouTube video later on today. Subscribe. Give it a like. Hit the notification button. If you don't like it, thumbs down. If you like it, thumbs up. Leave a comment. If you leave a comment, I'll discuss it on air, like Wheels did. That's what it's all about. Open discussion, making people aware, and getting the city council we deserve, and changing things around the city for the better. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. I will talk to you tomorrow at noon on Your City, Your Voice. Ciao, ciao.